G'day, Michael here. This odd looking part here is the component that's in the printer right now. I'll just shift across to that. Here you can see, well, it's been at it for about an hour and a half, and that's as far as it's gotten so far. It's about 160 millimeters across, that component. It's going to be about 100 and I think about 160 high as well. I haven't got those numbers in my head right now. But that's gives you an idea of the size of the thing. And what this is in aid of is I'm going to be doing a couple of printers. I'm building a 450mm by 450mm by, it looks like about 260 I'll be able to get out in height, printing area. And the unit, I'm going to be doing flying optics, so I'm making a smaller unit to get my head around, you know, all the intricacies of building a printer. And so far I've got this one component. Now this is my Z-axis. And in the end of this Z-axis, I'm going to be mounting a print head, something like this. But this hot end is too bulky. I'm going to do something different. I've decided to make my own. I've been aiming to make my own hot end for quite some time, and this design is just basically forced with my hand. Now, I've got a stepper motor mount on here already. I'll just thread that through. Okay, so now you can see the stepper motor mounted and the Z-axis thread. Now I've cut this slot on this side here so that I've got an ability for the nut, which is going to be in effect sliding up and down this part, or more accurately, this is going to be sliding up and down past the nut. The nut's going to be held from a lug on this component that you see on the computer right now. I might just pause that rotation for a second. So back to work rendering. Okay. It's a bit awkward. Okay, now I'm going to try and do what I've got to do and hold the camera still at the same time. Forgive me for the shakes. Counter, unblank, metal, unblank, wheels, unblank, Z-axis, unblank. Okay. Alright, so you can see I've got a mock-up of the wheels and so forth. I'll just change the orientation of that part. Okay, so you can see this is the assembly as I've designed it so far, with the cross rails, the bearings, and you can see that, well, up the top you can see that lug that's holding the stepper motor that you saw in my piece here. I'll just grab it, hold it. So basically, you can see the extrusion there. There's a simulation of this, and the bearings. I'm simply going to be using these bearings to be running on a flat surface. Now what I found with the V-rolls, I'll just go to the printer. Now what I found with this V-rail, with those rollers, they actually add quite a bit of friction if you want to have them tight enough to be quite rigid. So I find to get reasonably good performance out of the printer, I actually have to have them a little bit loose. Now I don't like that very much, so I want to have every wheel simply running on one flat surface. These V-rollers, of course, have got both their edges running at a 45-degree angle, which in effect is kind of like running in different gears at the same time, and generates a lot of friction that doesn't need to be there. So I'm not happy with the way these V-rollers are performing. I thought they'd be a lot better than they are. Here we have the bush on an 8mm shaft. Now for a start, the shaft itself is too flexible for my liking, and also the sleeves are a little bit, well, they're not perfect enough for my liking either. So I've abandoned the idea of round shafting, and also recirculating ball bearings. You can actually feel sort of a pulse as each ball bearing sort of pops around the recirculation on linear bearings. So I want to avoid that as well. So I've opted to just have wheels running on a flat surface, and I'm hoping that'll give me the least friction and still give me good firm travel. Alright, my Delta has a kind of a V-roll arrangement, but it's a round surface to round surface, so it's actually minimal friction, but it's also not as durable because it's running on a small running surface. The downside of that is, of course, all the pressure's on a small edge. So each design has its merits and its disadvantages. I'm trying to avoid any of the disadvantages, you know, have my cake and eat it too kind of thing. You know, that's my aim. Anyhow, this is where I am at the moment. The logic that I have is, obviously a roller running on a flat surface is going to be the lightest or least friction. So I'm hoping this idea is going to be, you know, very suitable. Alright, well I guess that's it for this stage. I'll keep you posted on my further developments on this. I may or may not put together a full video on the whole assembly process, but this is where I'm at the moment. I'm just working on this Z-axis stage, and back here to the computer you can see the various components I have designed. Yeah, well that's it from me. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, ask a question, leave a comment. Bye for now.